What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Fortnight on the Isle, where I've been slightly more responsible the last couple weeks, the last fortnight, but not necessarily, and I'm also very bright on screen. Luckily, there's some other colors over there to kind of offset the amount of white I'm wearing, since I normally don't wear white, and often wear too much black. But with that being said, my writing has taken a lot of a, forefront in the work that I've been doing the last couple weeks, and the change in my work schedule, as well as mentioned in the previous one of these updates, has definitely affected my reading schedule a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean like a lot of it, and it has been very different, and I'm still trying to get used to it and figure out something that might work better. With that being said, let's just kind of get into the bi-weekly reading, because there's actually not that much to talk about. Main thing is, like, I just continued both the Silmarillion and Howling Dark reread, which I mentioned at the end of this section in the last video that I started. These are going to take me a little while, and these two are my primary focus for the moment. I got through what is essentially, I got through what is essentially the first act of Howling Dark last week, or at least last Saturday at the time that I'm recording this, and got a little bit into Act 2, basically. I'm just under a third of the way through, I believe. So I'm making good progress, and this book is an absolute banger once again, which I figured it would be even on the reread, because it was great the first time around. And the Silmarillion has been going rather well as well. The first couple chapters prior to the Quinta Silmarillion are fantastic. I've only gotten one chapter into the Quinta Silmarillion so far, because I'm only reading one chapter a week. So this is going to make an appearance in probably the next like dozen or more of these Fortnights on the Isle. The first chapter of the actual Quinta Silmarillion did not make much sense. A lot of it kind of flew over my head, because there was a lot of exposition, even in a way that the Vala Quinta is not. And forgive me if I'm pronouncing anything incorrectly. That's totally on me, and I'm gonna feel stupid when somebody tells me the obvious pronunciation for some of these things. That makes more sense than how I'm saying them, but that is fine. I'm definitely still very excited to continue through this. I'm glad to have essentially a Tolkien scholar, for all intents and purposes, reading this alongside me, because that will help me understand and catch some things that I may not understand or catch on the first go around if I was just doing it on my own. The other thing that I did get through the last couple weeks was a little bit of a different reading project, in the sense that I went back to the poems of Edgar Allan Poe and read somewhere around 20 up to 25-ish. I want to say it was right around 21 or 22 of the poems that I had noted, or that I asked a couple friends who had also noted as being like particular favorites, poems that they had enjoyed a lot. And basically went through all of those again and kind of ranked them, and then went through them again as such to make sure that they were in an order that I felt like was suitable for a top 10 ranking of the poems, which will probably come out in October, because spooky season and all that fun stuff. So at some point I will record that video, and you'll see I have a bunch of bookmarks in here as well. As a result, those are marking out I believe it's just the 10 of them. Yeah, it's just my top 10 actual poems. Sorry about that. So yeah, that I had a great time being able to do that. It took a little bit of my reading time away as a result last weekend, but that's all fine, because I was procrastinating doing this for a few months up to that point from the time that I actually finished reading them. But I'm glad that I took the time to do that. Regardless, next up we're going to go ahead and go into the bi-weekly writing, and this is actually really exciting this week, because I realized while taking the notes for this that I did just about all of the third outline in the Silent Rain trilogy, the Lake of Ash, this fortnight. Let me move this file over here, then come over to the desktop screen so I can show you a little bit of what's going on here. This chart here is primarily what I'm discussing. Silent Rain I did all of / most of in June. Halfway Hollow I did all of in July. And I think a little bit of it in the very end of May as well. I think that might have been a thing. And then I've got right about 90% or so of, just under 90% of the Lake of Ash complete, just outlining. You can see by the planned scenes it's a little bit shorter than even Halfway Hollow was, and that one was already shorter than Silent Rain. But I don't think the books themselves will be shorter. Halfway Hollow might be a bit shorter, like the shortest of the three, but I think the Lake of Ash will probably be the longest of the three, despite much less scenes. That's all fine. Like, we don't need to go into some of those details, but I did get, let me see. Let me take 1 second and move another file over real quick. I got this exact number of words here, basically 8,800 words written for the Lake of Ash outline the last 2 weeks, just this fortnight, which is the 43 scenes, and which was, let's see, it was the 4 of the 5 parts plus 1 scene in part 5, actually, and nearly all 3 acts, quite frankly. Part 5 is going to be a very short part. Part 4 was most of the finale of the trilogy. Part 5 is mostly going to be as much of the resolution as this trilogy can have, being within a sequence that's going to encompass, 16 other books. And it was definitely a lot. I'm very proud of how it has turned out. It was a lot smoother than I thought it would be. And, just the fact that I'm at, what is it? Just over 30,000 right up here. 30,000 words for the whole trilogy so far is great. I think I'm probably going to be finishing this outline this weekend. Like, by the time you're watching this, I'm probably done with the Lake of Ash outline, although the whole trilogy will need a little bit of revising, particularly the Lake of Ash, because the Lake of Ash especially has a lot going on. So there were certain plot threads and things that I forgot to use or resolve properly that I need to do. Then there's a little bit of expansion that I need to do on Halfway Hollow's side, like maybe a couple very minor edits that I need to do in Silent Rain for Halfway Hollow. But all things told, I'm really excited about that. So there's always a chance that I'll be done with this whole trilogy by the end of August. Maybe, maybe not. Depends on what the rest of my month looks like for all of the other work that I'm doing. But I'm looking forward to that so that I can do Hermit of the Varus starting hopefully in September, at least halfway through September at the latest. Would be pretty nice if I could manage to get that. But yeah, I plan for the next trilogy to be a wee bit shorter. Planned scenes being closer to 45 rather than closer to the 60 that they turned out being for a couple of them. And then a 7,500 word target rather than the 10,000 word target. But regardless, that is how things look, and this is what the, sort of word count percentage chart looks like. I'm shooting for all of these to be between 100 and between 100 and 120% by the time I'm done. I think Halfway Hollow might shoot up a little bit when I've done expansions. Lake of Ash will definitely shoot up a little bit once I have a couple revisions in there. Silent Rain probably won't change much at all. But overall, yeah, that was the bi-weekly writing. Let's switch back over to here. Like I said, I had a great time doing my writing this week. I just was super enjoyable. And the fact that I did get through, nearly 9,000 words so far just in the last 2 weeks, and that's not even 2 full weeks of work. It was starting last Monday, and I'm recording this on a Friday, so it's only like a week and a half of work, quite frankly. Like 9 work days. I got just about 9,000 words. I'm very happy with that. It's basically the most productive that I've been in any, length of time such as this all year, except for maybe March when I got a little over 11,000 words over the month. But with that being said, I still might break that record in August, which would be pretty cool. But let's move on into the coming releases on the second channel. I'm just going to say next couple episodes of that Kingdom Hearts backlog series will continue to upload on Fridays. Nothing new there. I'm not going to mention anything about the Remnant Let's Play because I still haven't gotten more videos ready for that. And I'm not going to say that any more are going to be releasing until I actually put them together, because I've been really bad about that for the second channel. But on the main channel, I can say there will be 4 videos over the next couple weeks. There might even be a 5th one that I'm just completely forgetting about for some reason, but I don't think so. Either way, over the next couple weeks, on Tuesday, the 22nd, will be a review of Malice by John Gwynne for episode 101 of the book binge. And then the 24th will be 10 serialized novels I would like to read in serial form. That's one that I had a fun time with. And there was actually a couple things that I needed to get ready for that I did not actually get ready for that on the back end side of things that I maybe should try to do this week before that video actually comes out, now that I think of it. Next Tuesday on the 29th will be another review a little bit ahead of time before this actually releases. That will be for Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 3 by Christopher Rocchio, which I did have the wonderful opportunity of copy editing. And then I believe, at the time of recording, it was last weekend, I actually recorded a discussion video that lasted probably an hour and 45 minutes, somewhere around that range with Mr. Rockio himself. We had a great time talking. He's super great guy, and quite frankly, like, conversation just came super naturally to us. I feel like it just worked out. I had a really great time with that. That video will be coming in September at some point. One of those no, that'll come out on the second Tuesday of September, actually, because of A Wheel of Time Diaries. But anyway, Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 3 I will be reviewing next Tuesday. I think the final cover art should be done by the time that I'm needing to upload that, so I can record that video today. Actually, I'm going to be recording both of these reviews that I'm mentioning right after I'm done with this video, and then I'm going to edit that once I have the cover art so that I can still use the cover art within the video itself, as well as in my discussion with Mr. Rockio, so that will be pretty neat. And then, of course, next Thursday on the 31st of August, the final episode of the month, episode 104 of the Book Binge, will be the second part, finally, the second part of my discussion that I did with Jonathan from Words in Time, doing basically rapid-fire science fiction recommendations based off of a handful of things that I explicitly enjoyed from Sun Eater. That was kind of the second act, so to speak, of our discussion. We kind of did it in two parts. One of them was the recommendations that he made for me. Part of it was me just giving him some things that I enjoyed, or some things that I do enjoy, and him just off the top of the head coming up with some sort of recommendation. So that, if that gets any form of traction like the first part did, that video could potentially be very big. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that will be coming out over the next couple weeks. In terms of entertainment talk, there's not too much new to talk about. Did continue to play a lot of Remnant 2, got a couple dozen hours played over the last fortnight, with about a half dozen of that being with Josh in multiplayer, but then the rest of that being on my solo player character, continuing to have a great time. That's basically probably going to be commenting on Remnant 2 in that sort of sense for a lot of the coming updates like this, because whenever I have any free moments that I'm not into writing or too lazy to upload a video instead, I'm just going to be playing that game, kind of the way that I played Remnant on and off for 2 years, basically. I also picked up a couple new games recently, one of which being the, basically all of the rage right now, Baldur's Gate 3, even though I don't have time for it, and I'm not going to start it for a good long while. Maybe when I finally have internet to start streaming, I'll do casual playthroughs of that game, just because, you know, it's not a game that I could play the way that I would normally play games, you know, doing the whole anything and everything type of thing. Trying to be a completionist on that game apparently would be a nightmare, so I don't intend to play it that way. And when I play, you know, when I play games more casually like that, I tend to do them a little bit different, in a different format. So maybe that would be conducive for streaming. I don't know. But with all of that being said, that is basically everything that I wanted to get through in this video, so that will wrap up this Fortnite on the Isle. Thank you guys for checking it out if you did. Like I said, I'm excited for a couple of these videos that are coming out over the next couple weeks on this main channel, both of the reviews but also the other non-review videos as well, so I hope you guys are excited for those too, and that you are willing to check them out. If you are, I greatly appreciate that as always, just as I appreciate you if you're listening to me ramble on at the end of this video. Now, with that being said, I'm going to get out of your face now, and I will see you guys on Tuesday with another episode of The Book Binge.